How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? So we're here today with a bit of a different kind of a reaction, but something that I definitely want to introduce to this channel, and that is a reaction to a classical piece. Now this one is a string quartet with two violins, one viola, and one cello. This one is Bela Bartok, String Quartet number 4. Now, I've actually not heard this before, like the full song. I've heard one specific section of it for which was like 5 seconds long, and I've not heard the whole song. I've always been I've not heard the whole piece, so I've always been interested in going and listening to it. And I thought, you know what? Let's do some. I mean, granted, this video will be recorded before then, but let's do some classical piece reaction on this channel starting 2021. And again, this will be recorded way before then, but it will come out in 2021. That will be like the big thing in 2021 where we're going to start introducing those. Now, in terms of classical music, what is my knowledge of it? Like how familiar am I with classical music? I would say I am. If you had to put me on a scale, if you had to grade me, out of like, let's say 100, my proficiency in classical pieces, I would say I'm probably at a 30. Well, yeah, let's leave it at just 30. Like I was gonna say 35, but let's leave it at 30. All right. So a little bit of background. Is there some flickering going on in the background? I'm not sure, but a little bit of background to me. Let me just. I don't know where you guys can see it, but right there's a little bit of a digital piano right there. I do play a little bit of the piano, not too much, but a little bit. All right. I wouldn't say I am good or even great or anything of that sort. I just say I'm okay. But obviously, when you play the piano, especially considering I predominantly play classical pieces, I'm very familiar with the piano repertoire. I do. You guys can't see it, maybe. I do have a violin right there in its case, right there, and I had 2 guitars as well. Fun fact: I've played about a week of guitar, and I've had 1 lesson for the violin, and unfortunately never got back to it because after that lesson, I went away on holidays. For like 3 weeks. I came back and I was like, I forgot everything, and getting a lesson again just to do the same thing, just to learn the same thing that I learned in the first lesson. It's kind of difficult, especially considering I was doing piano lessons at that time too. So it's kind of like I need to divide my time properly. But I always do want to go back and learn the violin like properly. Another fun fact, a long time ago, I created a YouTube video, which was piano 1-year progress, and another one which was a piano 2-year progress, just documenting my 1 and 2 year progress on a piano. It's still on YouTube, a different channel though, not this channel, different channel. But I stopped doing that because my progress just was all over the place. Like there would be months where I wouldn't play, and there would be months where I'd play daily. But I'm thinking of like doing something similar for the violin. But Bela Bartok, String Quartet number 4. Now Bartok, I'm a little familiar with, but not to like the same degree as someone like for me personally, as I'm familiar with something like Liszt or Chopin or Bach or Beethoven or Mozart. Not so much actually, to be completely honest, because Mozart, I don't know why, but I've never really gravitated towards his music. It's too effortless, it's too easy, and I guess that's obviously his style, that he's like this effortless. When you play his pieces, you really are supposed to play it as if you're just improvising. It just comes to you effortless. But I don't know, to me, I never really gravitated that much towards it. More so towards like the late classical, early romantic period is pretty much where I would say I'm most familiar with. Tchaikovsky as well. But I do want to hear that, because the 5 to 10 seconds that I've heard from it, I loved a lot. Now that we've got this massive disclaimer out the way, again, this is going to be the first classical piece. It's probably going to be the first classical piece that I will release on YouTube in 2021. So I do want to give like my knowledge. Like I want to tell you a lot how much I know basically. About the repertoire that we're gonna go into. Now, also, I will say this: I'm not gonna be sitting here for 22 minutes and not saying a single word. Like that's not gonna happen. Like if you're just wanting to listen to the song by it, I keep saying song. That's just a bad habit. If you want to listen to the piece by itself, this is our reaction. This is not where you can just sit here and just listen to the piece for 2020. I will be pausing, I will be talking about it. Granted, my musical lingo is not, it definitely was stronger when I still was doing piano lessons and I had to constantly, use the lingo. But like nowadays, I'm not gonna go technical because I'm not that proficient. If you're asking me like what my grade was for the piano before I took like a hard break, my piano teacher at that time wanted me to do the grade 6 ABRSM exams. Now that was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. And then I took like a massive break, and since then I've been playing significantly easier pieces. So I'd say I'm not beyond grade 6. Granted, I have been playing a lot recently, harder pieces as well. So who knows how that will turn out in the future, but that's just kind of like disclaimer. ABRSM, that's what we're talking about. In terms of just playing and obviously theory as well. Besides that though, all the disclaimers out of the way, we are almost 6 minutes in. I'll have hopefully if I don't forget, but I'll have like a timestamp of when the actual video starts, when the actual reaction starts. But I hope now that I've got all that out of the way, let us get started listening to this. So, here's where it deviates. You can really tell how deep that viola is. I'm trying to follow the score as well, sorry. That's why I look so focused, because I'm trying to look at the score too. Granted, it's a lot easier for me to pick up the violin and the cello score. Because obviously I'm not too familiar with the alto clef, so I know like that's supposed to be C, middle C, and then like it's just you kind of go from there. But I'm not that used to it, obviously, with like the bass clef and the treble clef, so I'm not really, I'm not able to read quickly at least. Whereas with this, I'm more granted. You still have like I believe the V on the violin is like. Is that a downward stroke or is that the upward stroke? Or is that a different? Is that different technique? Maybe like pizzicato. I'm not sure. Again, violin. You're asking the wrong person. I know it's a violin score. Well, it's a score for 4 instruments, but yeah, but yeah. Now we change to alto. I'm back. Ooh, I like that. Oh, I like that. Like again, this is actually my first time listening to a string quartet. All right, it's the very first time I've listened to one. I'm not even gonna lie. Like again, I predominantly listen to piano music and the odd Tchaikovsky violin concerto. All right, that's really what it boils down to. But I like how like you've had the first violin. You can see it with the score as well. Like you had it go from the F sharp to the A sharp, and on the other side, is that supposed to be a sharp? Is that? Can't even tell. But you've had this go from like, yeah, that's a sharp. It just looks, the score is not the cleanest. Maybe. It looks more like a sharp the further I go. But like you've had it go here from like a G sharp down to an E. And you could tell obviously crescendo. But then what I liked as well was like these two. as well. So this whole measure right here, I very much like just listening to it, because like at the beginning we've had it being playing essentially the same notes, right? But like now, not just now, but like in the last 30-40 seconds, we've really seen how it deviates. Obviously, if you look further to the score, you can definitely tell how the two violins deviate. It's not just there to create like the same notes, the same effect. Now they're using the two instrument. I mean, they're using the four instruments to create a great sound, a rich sound. You can see it very much here as well. Ooh, I think. Sorry, this is gonna be like an analysis. Okay, this is gonna be like an. Oh, this has me excited. This has me excited because I'm not 100% sure, right? But like my first thought, not with this specific, but like on here, was again I'm not good. I'm not proficient at reading the alto clef. But like my first thought was, is the violin playing the same thing as the viola, just an octave higher? That's what's going on here. And then it deviates here. But for this specific section here, I'm like, is that the case? I'm not even gonna try and read it because I'm not even sure if that is middle C. So I'm not even gonna like really pretend to. But that would be cool. Although I don't think so. If that is middle C, then I don't think so. I mean, it does deviate though, so that point is kind of moot. The viola there is down completely. That is so odd. Like we just go from mezzo forte to double piano. Well, pianissimo. This just looks so odd to me. Listless. Okay, now it just seemed like madness. Oh boy. I've never had to deal with gliss on the piano before. But the amount of times you have to do it on the violin is actually kind of crazy. I've never seen gliss on the score before, but I'm just based on like what I'm hearing. I'm giving too much attention to the violin here. Let me listen to the viola and and. It's difficult. You know, with the cello. Oh, go on then. Give us that crescendo. Let's look at the viola a little bit. Okay. 6 minutes for the first one. Okay. What was that even supposed to mean? The O. Open string? Whoa! Okay, 1 second. No, never mind. Never mind. My goodness. What is that? That sounds pretty cool. I've got another gliss here and there. What? 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 Oh, that's quiet. How do you even play that quiet? Oh, woo. Nah, okay, I'm not able to read that. With the speed, this one is. With piss. What, 2? Ooh. Sorry. Ooh, I like that. I thought that was a violin, but it's the viola that's playing that. This piece is way too fast. I can't even keep up, to be completely honest. At all. And that concludes this. Non troppo lento 60. Okay. So. No, that's a bit too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. That sounded great. That doo doo doo. Ok. Pochi agitato. Mino italiano. This one feels very, very different to the other ones. In this one, the other three string instruments, they feel like a backing track. Best way I could think of, the best term I could think of right now. Just there to support the melody. I say that, and now we switch. We switch the instrument. Oh boy, here we go. That one really stuck out because everything else was like piano and that one was forte. That sounded like it sounded like a flute. Almost like it had the same effect to me as a flute just there. Me trying to play the flute like that's what it sounded like. That. Okay. I wish I had done like a little bit of like research beforehand on like the themes behind the string quartet. Like the the themes. Because obviously, that's the end of that one. They're obviously all very distinct. But like I'm trying to like gather the themes behind Bartok's the vision behind it. Why was it writing them? Like what is? Oh my goodness, we're playing a fast one here. 142. What is that? What's 142? That's like, it's a 3/4. Okay. We're playing fast. But like what would I love to know is like the context behind it. Why did he decide to create this? Why did he think to do this? You know, what was on his mind? What were the reasons for writing this? Was it just just because, or was there a specific reason behind it? Also, I will say the one part of this that I've heard hasn't come up yet, and that was like dun 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 dun, something like that. I'm totally butchering that, but like it sounded a little different. It was more like dun, 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 dun. No, that's too high. It's more like dun, 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 dun. That's not quite right, but it sounded like that, and that hasn't come up yet. But so far, I've very much enjoyed this, to be completely honest. I'm just looking at the tempo here. I almost feel like it's gonna come up now. Oh, I like that. Was that like a snapped string? That's what it sounded like to me. Like someone was playing and ding. That's what it sounded like to me. I didn't hear it there. No, just them playing. I thought that was like that ding, ding. I can't even tell which instrument is playing that. They're just plucking. I love I love how it constantly switched there from like truffle. Are we going? Un poco più mosso. A little with vigor? I don't know. Muscle. It almost sounds like someone's just strumming a guitar. I know it's not, but that's what it almost sounds like. Ding, 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 ding. Well, it definitely wasn't the one I was thinking of. This one sounds like it. Yeah. That this is what I heard, right? And but my first thought was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is what I heard, like a 5-second snippet from this, and I thought Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I would have listened to this, and that's the motivation for getting it. So let's go back to the beginning. That's cool. That's what I'm gonna say. That's cool, man. It's cool. Really, really cool. So far, I've really, really enjoyed it. That's at the beginning. All the way to the beginning. No. Well. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. I like how it changed here. I should also mention I've got a terrible ear. If you ask me what a note is, I won't be able to tell you. I am working on that though. Diligently. This is why I could not play. This is why this would be so difficult for me to play, because look at the amount of rests. All right, you've got rests here, rest there. I'm like, I know the piece goes very quickly, so like that is over very, very quickly. But like, just in my head, I need to always play something. Like I would always have to play on a string, like just to be able to count or something. Yeah, this is why that's never gonna happen. How do you do? I don't know. Again, I'm not a violinist. I didn't hear that at all. 1 second. I'm trying to pick up what the viola is doing here. I can hear the violin, but I can't hear the viola. I cannot hear the viola there. So I can hear it perfectly now, but like that one tiny section, I couldn't hear it at all. I'm struggling. I'm struggling keeping up. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just trying to focus on the violin right now. But just tempo-wise, I'm struggling to keep up. What does collegno mean, damn it? What does collegno mean? Because it sounded like they were just ding ding ding, like just hitting the violin, like ding ding ding. Instead of like, do 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 do. Well, if I remember correctly, it was like more like that. Probably not. But like, it just sounded like that ding ding ding. That's what it sounds like to me. But I don't know what collegno means, so I'm kind of lost here. Here. Did the piece start at 168? I thought it was at 172. Okay. Okay! Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. It ended kind of abruptly, I'm not even gonna lie. But it sounded fantastic, and you can probably tell by just my recommended video. All right, shoot, I've been listening to, I've been watching a bit of two-step violin yesterday, and now I was like, that's all my recommendation. But that's basically where I heard the piece from two-step violin. I think it was like one of their games where it's like listen to a piece for 5 seconds and try and guess it, or maybe like a tempo piece, something like that. And that's where I heard this from. Now I know what I'm gonna say. And it is biased. All right, it's biased. I'm gonna say it. It's biased. The movement that had the part, the final, was it movement 5? I'm not sure. I didn't particularly pay attention to that. But that specific, try and find the beginning of it. I don't know when it started. No. But that was probably my favorite one. I'm not even gonna lie. That was probably my favorite one. Yeah. The Allegro molto. The Allegro molto. I'm not sure about molto. But that was probably my favorite, and it's at 132. Interesting. But that was probably my favorite, right? And it's the reason why I watched it. I'll be honest, I heard it just for like 5 seconds, and it's the reason why I watched it, because it just sounded fantastic. But I actually quite liked all of them. Again, I'm not that familiar with Bartok's music, but I will say this one was a great experience. A definitely great time listening to this. I definitely felt like they definitely felt all very different, but you could also tell. Look, this is my first string quartet. Right? It's my first string quartet. And I liked how, because here's what I thought. I thought they just had like 2 violins for the sake of enhancing, for the sake of you have them play the same note, so you give a louder sound. But no, they very much played different notes, very much played different tunes. And obviously, as I said, I've watched a few two-step violin videos in my time. One of the reasons I actually thought, let me just try and pick up the violin as well as let me try and pick up the violin too. It's like, nah, I'm not that determined, all right? Maybe one day, but I'm not that determined. But that was a few years ago. And then, I just started watching again because honestly, I'm trying to as I said, I've been listening to a lot of, I've been trying to do a lot of ear training. So I'm when I do a lot of ear training, or a lot of music training in general, I try and surround myself with as much content on music. Maybe not the most educational content, but I try and surround myself with as much content and knowledge as there is out there. And that's why I've been listening and watching a lot of different, mostly actually piano YouTube channels. But yeah, there's a joke being made about the viola always sounding bad. I like the viola. It sounded pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. It sounded pretty good. I really like the cello as well. Like the cello to me, the instrument I'm most unfamiliar with from the four that were played here, but it really surprised me. It really surprised me. It sounded really, really good. I definitely want to listen to more like string music, but I'm also definitely gonna do some piano music on here because again, that's kind of like my what I like to listen to the most, but just because it's the one I can tell what's happening. With this one, I could like follow the rhythm. Sometimes I could follow the notes. Sometimes, but I couldn't really follow like the technical side of things. I couldn't appreciate that. I couldn't appreciate whether it was necessarily like very difficult beyond the rhythm and the notes being played, whether there were like difficult techniques being incorporated too, or whether or really like what was happening beyond the surface, if that in that regard. Whereas with the piano, I can tell, okay, octaves here, octaves there, octaves here, octaves there. Playing them at a relative high speed is difficult. I don't know whether that's the case for other instruments too. I don't know what's like easy for other instruments and difficult for certain instruments. So like my knowledge isn't that high. My knowledge of the instrument isn't that high. But from what I heard, from what I listened to, I very much enjoyed. If I don't forget, I will have it separated in the comments in the description. All right. I should probably mention it at the beginning. But if I don't forget, I probably have it like all separated by the movement in the description down below, so you guys can check that out. So you guys can check out like the specific movement, specific section of the video of the reaction that you want. But yeah, that was enjoyable. That was very much enjoyable. Almost makes me want to like pick up the violin and be like, yeah, let me try it properly this time. Woohoo! For more than just a week. Let me try it properly. I know myself too well, right? I'm always awake during the night, not during the day. So I'm not gonna be able to play at night because I'm not gonna want to wake up my neighbors with the the piano. I can headphones. Yay, it works. But like, just kind of the curse of being a night owl, I guess. But yeah, that's all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all think. Let me know what you want. Let me know what you would want me to check out next. Again, when it comes to like string instruments or even just like other instruments like wind instruments, or percussive instruments, there are so many things that I'm unfamiliar with. There are so many things that I don't know that like you can basically recommend me anything. And I mean, even if it's something that I've listened to, which there probably will be some. There probably will be some that I'll be reacting to that I've listened to already. I'm definitely thinking of like doing a reaction. Difficult to call it a reaction when you already know it, I guess. But like a reaction to Tchaikovsky piano. It's one of my favorite. Honestly, it's one of my favorite piano concerto No. 1 from Tchaikovsky. But then you've got probably my favorite piece of all time in general with Chopin's Ballade No. 1. I get tired of a lot of music very quickly, right? For example, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, the first movement, absolutely one of my favorite pieces of all time. It's the thing that inspired me. I watched an anime. I watched an anime as a kid, Detective Conan, and I think it was episode 17 or episode 19 as a kid. I can't remember, when I was like 5 or so, and they were playing Moonlight Sonata in that episode, and I was like, wow, I really want to play it. I really want to learn how to play the piano. Unfortunately, that didn't really happen until I became 20. But then I ultimately picked it up, and then once I started playing the Moonlight Sonata, I listened to it so much and I played it so much on such a frequent basis that I got sick of it. And that happens with basically all the pieces. Like, there are so many pieces that I just get sick of. Fantasy Impromptu, when I first started playing the piano, I was like, wow, I can't believe it. How could you play like that? And now I'm like, it's just so boring. But like the one piece that I can listen to 100 billion trillion times is the Chopin Ballade No. 1. And funny enough, the Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto #1 is like slowly getting up there too. As like I've listened to it so many times, but I'm still not getting bored of it. There are a few pieces out there, but like a lot of them I have to take breaks from. Those two in particular, I don't. You've got the Hungarian Rhapsody #2. That is pretty great too, honestly. And you've got Rafri. Rafri, I'm like, ooh, but I'm looking at it more so from a technical channel. I'm like, oh. This is gonna be the ultimate piece. This is gonna be the ultimate. Once I've learned that, if I can learn that, then I will be satisfied. Granted, my goal is to do the ballad within 10 years of starting. I'm currently on year 4, having basically wasted a year and a half. But 10 years time, by the time I'm 30, so I'm 24 right now. I'm gonna be 25 soon. By the time I'm 30, hey, I don't think I'm gonna do it, but hey, but like Rafri is like the ultimate piece. When I play that piece, I'm like, okay, I can call myself a pianist at that point. I can call myself a pianist at that point. But let me know what I should be reacting, listening to, watching next. I've been messing around a little bit with like the audio recently. I used to use OBS Classic. I'm using OBS Studio right now. It's basically the same program, but I used to always be like a good second behind what was happening in what I was watching. It's like, I don't know why, but like it would record me. The camera would record me like a second late than what was happening. So I messed around a bit with OBS Studio in the past, in like the past day or two, trying to like get it synced up, because OBS Studio has like filters and whatnot. So I hope I didn't test it. I tested it earlier, but like then I closed it, I shut the PC down, and I open it again, and I'm like, I hope it saved those settings. I hope everything is okay. I'm actually on sync now with what is happening in the piece or whatnot, So I hope it wasn't like I'm like a good second behind, like do. I'm like do. Like I hope that's not the case. I really do hope that's not the case. But like we'll see. If it does turn out that I'm like way behind, way ahead, whatever, then I'll have to readjust it from here on out, and see what the right setting would be, and see whether those settings would save. So that's all I will say, though, ladies and gentlemen. I will be seeing all of you in the next one, everyone. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. 2021. I'll see you all next time. Peace out and bye.